Good morning to you, and welcome on in to a Thursday, December 11th of 2025. So why was I, Joan and Sam, why was I openly weeping this morning? Such an amazing story. So I'm going to tell you.
You missed In-N-Out Burgers so much this morning, and you realized you can't get there in the morning to have a
burger for breakfast?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't it.
Okay.
I've got a soft spot for Jelly Roll. You know Jelly Roll?
Yeah.
The musician. So he was on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday, and they're talking about the time that he was watching Craig Morgan at the Grand Ole Opry from the seventh row of the Opry. And then years later, because you know Jelly Roll's story, right? He was a criminal. He was in and out of jail or prison, and he spent a lot of time in prison, about 7 years or so overall in prison. And he credits that time, Jelly Roll, he credits that time behind bars as having taught him that he had something to offer. Music. And so what he would do, I don't know if you know the story of Jelly Roll, Joan, but he would freestyle raps and write songs in prison, and the other inmates, they loved the songs. And by the way, he's from Antioch. He's from right here in Middle Tennessee. So he's from Antioch, and so he realized in prison, and this is why I am a fan, it's going to sound weird, but I'm a fan of putting people in prison and consequences for committing crimes, because people can actually go into prison and then come out a changed person. And so he's talking about all of that with Joe Rogan. And he's a big Craig Morgan fan, apparently. And so now one of the things that's going on is Jelly Roll has lost a lot of weight. His music is, of course, incredibly popular, Jelly Roll, and he does amazing charitable work around the state of Tennessee. So he's on with Joe Rogan. They're talking about all this, and they're talking about the time that he was watching Craig Morgan, and all of a sudden, you know, Joe Rogan wanted to play something for Jelly Roll.
I'm going to show you something else, too. I didn't think I'd make a joke. I'm going to show you this.
Craig Morgan is on the screen.
Give me some volume.
To say congratulations on all the great things happening in your career, and to thank you for the positive difference you're making in the lives of so many people who need the help. You're doing great work, buddy, and I'll never forget meeting you on the Grand Ole Opry and how much it meant to me to hear you say my music helped you get through some really tough times. That's one thing country music does really well.
And then Craig Morgan gets up, and he's in front of the Grand Ole Opry.
And who would have ever dreamed back then that I'd be back at the Opry House today to say, Jelly Roll, you're officially invited to become a member of the Grand Ole Opry. It's an honor to say welcome to the family, brother.
He's crying. He throws his headphones down. He's crying.
He wanted to play that for you when you're here.
Openly weeping.
Oh, my goodness.
Even Joe Rogan is sniffling.
Have a hug.
And now he says, can I have a hug? And he gets up and he hugs Joe Rogan. Oh, my goodness. See him?
I love you, too.
I mean, what a moment.
Wow.
What an absolute moment.
Okay, I have tears.
Right, Sam, you better be tearing up, too, or you're an ingrate.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
Where's your heart?
I mean,
are you serious?
It's great for him, but he's kind of deviated from what made him popular in some ways. He was anti-establishment, anti-industry, and now he's the focal point of the industry.
So they get up, they hug. It was a great moment. And by the way, I want to go back and watch this entire discussion between Jelly Roll and Joe Rogan. But they talked about his incredible weight loss. Do you know how much he's lost, by the way? He has lost 300 pounds.
Wow.
That is crazy. Listen to this.
You're a totally new human being.
It is, man. And you know what's crazy? I don't want to get super spiritual out the gate, but I will, because I think God wants me to right now, because you saying that. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, in Christ all things are a new creation, which I thought was interesting, because it didn't talk about restoring the old. It says that in God, we are a completely new creation. You know what I mean? So, like, I was looking at it at first like I'm restoring my heart. But then when you're saying that, I'm like, no, I didn't restore my heart. I got a whole new heart. This is a brand new heart, Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be cloaked as the old one, but God touched it. It's a whole new heart, baby.
I mean, I love that.
Wow.
He's so positive.
He looks so different.
He does. You know what? He got out of prison.
Yeah.
And he started, getting attention with his music and Craig Morgan and got the record deal and all that kind of stuff. And he met Sam. Who is he married to? Is it Bad Bunny?
No.
No. Don't laugh at me. He's married to somebody.
Her name, she does go by Bunny.
But it's not Bad Bunny. Is it Good Bunny?
I don't know. It's
anyway.
Like
so
they met in Vegas while she was a prostitute and he was a drug dealer.
Awesome. And now they're both, living clean together.
Well, really what it was, he was incarcerated for drugs in 2008, and he learned from a correctional officer that he was going to be a father.
Right.
And so when he found out he was going to be a dad is when he really got the gears turning on cleaning his life up.
Yep.
That was his adult charge, was being incarcerated for drug dealing. When he was a teenager, he was part of an armed robbery. Wasn't the person with the gun,
right,
but was charged equally. Yep. And that's where he spent 7 years for juvie. Listen to the Music City Miracle happen from the detention center right next to the Titans Stadium.
And he, as you said, he found out that he was going to be a father in prison. He says that is the moment that he decided that he was going to be a better human being. Now, this is interesting. And this could go either way. He says that because he is a convicted violent offender, that he's not allowed to hunt. So he just bought this big piece of property here in Tennessee, and I assume that he'd like to hunt on it. He was talking about this with Joe Rogan. But he's not allowed to own a gun because he was convicted as a violent offender. And because he isn't allowed to own a gun, he isn't able to hunt with his kids. So, Joan, I'm going to do something that I've never done before here on the radio show. You ready?
Ready.
It's going to be an instantaneous Daily Dan poll. So I'm doing a topic, and then I want the people watching and the people listening to go to YouTube and take this poll immediately, because I want to know, and we're going to talk about this coming up after the traffic, should they make an exception for Jelly Roll? And we're going to explain this coming up. But should they make an exception? Should they create a law where someone who has that kind of a past conviction but has clearly paid their price be allowed to go ahead and own a gun because they have clearly paid their price and they are a changed man? Because not only federal but also state law prohibits someone with his kind of a background to own a gun. So, and we're going to get into that coming up, but we got to check the traffic. But go take is that up? Is that up now?
Yeah.
On YouTube? Okay, how did you, the first time I'm doing this, so I'm a little nervous about it working. So how did you frame the
Should
question?
Jelly Roll be allowed to carry a gun? Most basic form of that constitutional right. Yes, comma, he paid his dues, or no.
So our ongoing movement here on WTN and Nashville's Morning News to find better bumper music, better Christmas bumper music than the company mandated bumper music for Christmas. We are just bucking the system. That's what we do here on Nashville's Morning News. And so Joan has picked out this hour's Christmas bumper music, and here it is. Yep, terrible.
Just stop it. Listen.
Did you really, Joan?
Come on. This is Kate Smith. Come on.
You know what? People accused me earlier with my high whiny voice of making the coyotes howl. I think this is going to make the coyotes howl. Everybody, let's hear it.
You guys, this is such a classic.
The song is, yes, when it's
The
sung
poem.
correctly.
So real quickly, because people are watching online, this is Kate Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
And anybody who's from the Philly area loves their Kate Smith.
Yes, 26, 25, 65. We are bucking the bumper system. Go ahead, Joan.
This is Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem.
Okay.
It is a classic. It's beautiful. The story reflecting that all the bad in the world cannot trump God's power.
Okay.
And it's just,
Okay, Joan.
it's rousing toward the end. It's heartwarming.
Okay. Great. Thanks,
There
Joan.
is no peace on earth, I said. Listen to these words. For hate is strong.
Right.
and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Now listen to when she brings it back up here. Listen.
You're making me listen to this.
I feel like
You're
I'm
gonna
trapped at
love
my
it.
grandma's.
Yes.
Okay, here it comes.
Talking about Joe Rogan and Jelly Roll, incredible conversation that they had. So Jelly Roll is talking about how he wants to actually, and this is where this really piqued my interest. He wants to essentially petition the state legislature to change the laws to allow someone like him, somebody who has a violent, offender convicted, to allow that person to be able to own a gun. Listen to this.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
You're not allowed to own a firearm, or you're allowed to operate one?
No, sir.
No, so
I'm
you
not
can't
allowed to
rifle hunt at all.
No, sir. I'm on my first hunt pretty much.
And is that forever?
Well, this is interesting. I am, it's a slippery slope for me. I am up for a pardon this year. My paperwork has been sent into my governor, and he considers pardons in every December. So every day, I'm just kind of praying. You know what I mean? But even if he gives me the pardon, unfortunately, Tennessee has a zero forgiveness policy for violent offenders. So I would be pardoned, but I wouldn't be adjudicated. What's it called when they
Exonerated?
exonerated? I wouldn't be. The charges aren't completely gone. So what I'd have to do is, and this is my hope, is that my goal in this is that I want to reach out to legislation eventually and go, hey, like, if nothing else, I'd like my right to hunt. Like, it's done a lot for my mental health. It's done a lot for my physical health. Raped somebody or killed somebody. But I think that there should be some path to redemption, even if it takes 30 years. Put something unrealistic up there. You can't get a speeding ticket for 20 years. But like, I think it's important for people to have a path to redemption. I'm a redemption guy. And, if God didn't just show me so many paths, you know what I mean? Then
Well, I think it's one of the more beautiful aspects of Christianity.
Right.
That it does offer you a path to redemption, like a true legitimate path where you can become a different person.
So memo to Jelly Roll, and maybe he knows this, maybe he doesn't, but you can. It's a very difficult process, but you can. I suppose you could call it like the Jelly Roll law, but at what point is someone allowed to carry a firearm if they've been convicted of a violent crime? You have federal law that says, no, you cannot ever own a gun if you've been convicted of most felonies where you spend a year in prison. Now, federally, if you are pardoned, you can get those rights back. But in Tennessee, apparently, and I just looked this up this morning, so there's probably, aspects of this that I don't get. But in Tennessee, you get busted for a felony, any felony, you cannot own a gun for life, not even in your home. But I grokked it, and it does say that you can, if you get a pardon from the governor, and you can petition or ask the governor to restore your rights if it is specified in the pardon. But they say that it is apparently quite the process for him to get his gun rights back. So bottom line is, I'm Team Jelly Roll on this one, guys. I am. But it's got to be a case-by-case basis. I think clearly Jelly Roll is a changed man, but then what about the next guy who you don't know this guy from Adam, and how do you know that this other person is truly a changed man? So I think that as far as individually, Jelly Roll, clearly he should, in my opinion anyway, be allowed to hunt. He went on to talk about how he would love to take his sons out hunting on his property. Again, he just bought a big piece of property here in Middle Tennessee. And I think that he can petition, he can ask the governor, can I have my gun rights back as well? But again, apparently it is quite the process. But I do want to know, and don't tell me yet, Sam, I want people, again, this is an instantaneous Daily Dan poll. Go to YouTube, take the poll. The question is, should Jelly Roll be allowed to get his gun rights back? And basically the bottom line is the choices, yes or no. I want to know what you think. Okay, so I can't. Okay, so here's the deal. Can I just say this
The
because
wrong will fail, the right prevail.
So you know what's happening here, Sam?
What is it?
Is Joan
just trying to recoup with the message.
Yes, that's
But
exactly.
it's such a good song.
No,
is.
I'm saying
No,
that the message is great.
Yeah.
The poem is great.
But good Lord,
This
man.
song is.
I would like to hear Metallica do a version of that. Can that happen?
No.
Is there like a better version
no,
of that?
No.
There is a better version of that.
Well, okay, so we'll do the other version. I don't want to live on this right now. So we'll do the better version at the 8:35. Okay, it is
People
6:40.
are saying that their ears are bleeding. I don't.
Yes,
understand.
Joan, that was terrible. Can I ask you a
loved it.
question, Joan? You know my affinity for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I brought you stickers from In-N-Out. That tells you how much I adore
I'm
you.
special. Yeah.
But do you do that on purpose? Like, did you intentionally like grab a bad bumper music?
No,
like,
I really truly love it.
that was a coyote
It
howler
makes
if I've
me-
ever heard one.
It makes me cry. It makes me cry when she gets to the point.
It made me cry in a
crescendo.
different way, Joan.
Yeah. Like the kind of cry of you've been cutting onions and you're annoyed that you're crying.
All right.
There, see, Jason, there can't be a better version of this song.
Jason, I will prove you wrong at 8:35. You come
All right.
back.
All right, we got to go. Why do Democrats want to impeach RFK Jr.? So if you're keeping track, right? And Joan, you and I spoke about this earlier off the air. So Democrats are trying to impeach Pete Hegseth and now RFK Jr. I'm assuming the reason they want to impeach Pete Hegseth is because of the Venezuelan boats and all that.
Oh, yeah, they're saying he committed murder.
All right. So have you
Yeah.
heard this absolutely unhinged congresswoman talking about RFK?
I yield the gentlelady 30 additional seconds.
The gentlewoman is recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
Cause of their servitude, sharing in the profession with those who have not come before you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Democrat Party. This is
This is Afton Bain-like.
This is Michigan Congresswoman Haley Stevens. She's wearing pink gloves, by the way.
Oh,
Similar
boy.
times of trying medical need, wars and flus pass. You will see darkness. You
Absolutely
will be
unhinged.
crushed. And our society
Why are they so weird?
To stand
Like, how is
together
it that
at this time
Republicans-
our
we can get our
country
point
loves you,
across
to
without
our
doing
doctors
this?
and our nurses, I wear these
The
latex
gentlelady's
gloves
time
to
has
account.
I love how they call her the gentle
Jenna
lady.
lady, I think not.
She's not.
expired.
Every American
The gentleman
should
from
not
Maryland
be
is
afraid.
reserves. The gentleman from Texas is recognized.
And they cut off
The
her mic.
gentleman from Texas is now recognized.
She won't be quiet. There's the gavel.
Gentlelady from Michigan is out of order.
Take her by her feet and get her out of there.
Do you know what you want? You want, like, remember when you'd watch Saturday morning cartoons
Yeah.
and they'd have the cane or whatever that is and pull them off the stage? That's what you want to do with somebody like her. But that is Michigan Congresswoman Haley Stevens, and she's wearing pink gloves and she's spitting all over the microphone and screaming into it. But here's what she's so upset about. This comes after the CDC advisory panel voted to rescind recommendations that newborn babies receive that immediate first dose of the hepatitis B vaccine. And so some people, of course, didn't like that all that much.
RFK Jr. has got to go. Today I introduced articles of impeachment to remove him from office. RFK
This is her.
Jr. has turned his back on science, on public health, and on the American people. Under his watch, families are less safe, healthcare costs are skyrocketing, and life-saving research, including right here in Michigan, is being gutted.
All right, so perspective is everything. So the problem that I have is that the Democrats right now, they have zero credibility. Science, in the eyes of a lot of folks, right, has zero credibility. Now, I'm just telling you the way that it is. There are a lot of people out there who feel like the follow the science people, like a lot of these Democrats and Republicans, doesn't have any credibility. And so if there's any skepticism on vaccines and science itself, it has been created by the science community after COVID. And that is just a fact. What was Anthony Fauci's famous quote? I am science. Is that what it was?
I am the science.
I am the science, right? Anthony Fauci. So if anybody is responsible for the skepticism of science and vaccines, it is Mr. I am the science, Anthony Fauci, and the entire scientific community who went along with the COVID mandates. They forced vaccines on the American people. They lied to us about the impact and the effects. They censored us on social media if we spoke out. And something as simple as wanting a second opinion earned us the accusation of wanting to kill our grandparents. So excuse the living heck out of me if, we're all a little vaccine and science skeptic.
Babies were born without fathers present in the room. Loved ones died without being able to say goodbye or hug somebody for the last time.
Exactly. So they have themselves to blame. But we're going to talk about the hysteria over the hepatitis B vaccine coming up next. And we're going to hear from RFK Jr. himself on why it is that he believes that the hepatitis B vaccine can be delayed. We're talking about this hepatitis B vaccine. You've got this congresswoman out of Michigan who, by the way, is running for Senate. So that's part of this whole, let's be honest. She's screaming at the top of her lungs that RFK Jr. needs to be impeached. And by the way, she knows that he's not going to be impeached because the Republicans control the House of Representatives. So she knows that this is futile, and the Republicans also own the Senate as well. So this is all just performative in nature. And we talked about, the lack of self-awareness of the science community. But that lack of self-awareness doesn't seem to stop this Haley Stevens, who, again, is running for the Senate, probably going to win the primary, by the way, and she continues on.
RFK Jr. is the biggest self-created threat to our health and safety. I cannot and I will not stand by while one man dismantles decades of medical progress. Enough is enough.
So that is Haley Stevens. As far as the hepatitis vaccine and what in the world did RFK Jr. do? So here's what he did. He replaced the existing CDC vaccine advisory board with his own people. And the accusation is that the entire board is made up of vaccine skeptics. That's what people are saying. That is what the accusation is. As far as the hepatitis B vaccine, so usually is given at birth, automatically at birth to all infants, right? That's what the current policy is. The new policy would be that the vaccine will be given to babies born to mothers who are hepatitis B positive or their status is unknown. Negative testing mothers should discuss the risks with their doctors and decide for themselves. The panel's basic suggestion is to delay that first dose until about 2 months old, if not given at birth. And now the CDC still has to approve this recommendation. And listen, my shoulders are like above my ears. Like, I don't really understand what the problem is here. So if a baby is born to a mother that actually has hepatitis B, then you give that to the baby because the mom is positive. If the mother's status is unknown, you also give that vaccine to the baby. But if the mother tests negative, then what the moms do, parental choice, should discuss the risks with their doctors and decide for themselves. I don't know, Joan, you're a mom. You're the mom of this show. This seems reasonable to me. I don't know. It seems reasonable to me.
It does take the power of the decision-making away from the government and puts it in the hands of parents. Do you know
that's their problem.
Yes, it is the problem. At this point, you can tell when children are born, you can tell the doctors, don't vaccinate my child. Don't smear whatever it is that they smear on their eyes. Don't do those things. And the doctors have to abide by your
demands,
your demand. Yeah. So parents can make that decision now, but this is what they're doing right now is just making it, like, putting it into, not law, I guess, but making it the procedure that must happen in hospitals.
More from Haley Stevens.
And that is why I'm pushing to impeach RFK Jr., to hold him accountable, and to protect the health, safety, and future of every Michigander. Because our health, our science, and our future are worth fighting for.
It's also worth mentioning she has received $172,000 in donations from pharmaceutical companies and related PACs and executives from that industry. So there is that. And you know, I'm skeptical of Haley Stevens. I'm skeptical of Big Pharma. But why does RFK Jr., what is the justification for wanting to delay the vaccine for those families whose mother is not hepatitis B positive or unknown? This is what RFK Jr. has said.
Hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. You get it from having sex with from multiple partners, gay sex, or from sex workers, or intravenous drug use. Why would you give that to a baby? It clearly, the only reason, in fact, Merck, when it developed the drug, was told by FDA and CDC, we want you to develop this for those vulnerable populations. And the populations, when they didn't buy it, Merck went back to the agencies and saying, you told us to develop this vaccine, nobody's buying it. And CDC said, don't worry, we'll just recommend it for children. We'll force everybody to buy it.
So that is RFK Jr.'s response to all of that. And listen, both sides have their stories. Both sides have their opinions. Some say the vaccine causes MS, autism, and Guillain-Barré syndrome. The impeachment obviously is not going to go anywhere. Republicans control the House. But here's the deal. If Democrats end up winning the midterms, this type of thing is going to happen on a daily basis. As far as the decision goes on the hepatitis B, nothing changes until the full approval of the CDC, and that could take weeks. So, I mean, my bottom line is, and I've always said this, see where this goes and consult your doctor.
But he's not saying that you can't still give it to your child at birth.
Right.
So what is she complaining about?
She's running for Senate. That's why she's doing this. She is running for Senate. And there's a lot of virtue signaling going on the left as well.